These videos of people storming into a shop is not for a trendy water bottle or a bear cup at Starbucks or a chunk of squishy plastic, but for something far, far more important, a pocket watch. This was the limited release Swatch AP Royal Pop collection that had police intervening and shops having to close because of the mayhem surrounding it. So, out of curiosity, not knowing what this was all about, I started looking into it. Why is this such a big deal? What's going on? Y'all, I went head first into the world of watch gurus on YouTube, and it is one of the weirder ones that I've been down in a while, and I am excited to share it with you today. Because for many people, like myself, a watch is simply a tool with which you learn the time and the date. Maybe you can even set a timer if you're feeling frisky. But there is an entirely different culture of watches out there that treat these things as more of like a speculative investment market than an accessory, and they take it very seriously. I've learned that what happened with Swatch AP broke a lot of unspoken rules in the watch community, and it made quite a few people a little uncomfortable. Mobs of people fighting over a watch is just not what happens in the watch world, and so this drop basically created a whole new precedent for how watches get bought and sold, and it's a lot more interesting than I was expecting. So let's get into it. Today's video is sponsored by Henson Razors. So the reason why we decided to make this video at all is because I'm a watch guy now, guys. I've been wearing this Casio F91W. It's a variation of that one, actually, for about 6 months now. And I can't remember which one exactly this is, but I bought it because it has a few features better than the original. It's got better water resistant. It's got a better light on there. But the real reason why I bought this wristwatch was to reduce my screen time. I was finding that I would check my phone to see what time it was, and then I would find myself scrolling for like 15 minutes without even realizing it. Or maybe I'm just doing some performative male shit right now, and I'm showing you how offline I am by flashing my analog watch in all these videos. I don't know. Maybe this is all just a sham. The reason why I bought this wristwatch, and none of the wristwatches that you're going to see in this video, is because A, this one is affordable, but it is also an example of a certain kind of consumerism that we don't see a whole lot anymore. There's no subscription connected to this thing. There's no smart tech features in it. There's no planned obsolescence junk. It's just a watch, and it's great. And we're going to be getting into that a little bit more later in the video. But I just wanted to establish where I am at on this subject before we get into this, because as I have learned, the watch world is a weird one. All right, so when I looked into this situation, I found this BBC article that sort of broke down what happened around the world related to this watch, and it did get crazy. Like, there was tear gas getting sprayed at people in Paris. And this is not how this goes typically. This partnership was between higher ranked, more exclusive brand AP and a more consumer grade brand Swatch. The whole idea here was that you could get a higher end watch, AP, for a fraction of the price that you would typically be able to get one of these watches for. So this drop brought out a very particular kind of scalper. The ones who were offering to pay people double the list price right outside the door after they'd bought one. Because it seems that a big chunk of the watches bought here were bought specifically to resell online, because that is a big part of what watch culture is all about. So this is where, for me, this got weirder. Because, look, I knew about Rolexes, right? And how they build in scarcity into these watches because they literally don't sell them. You know, they constantly improve in value over time. They're used as an investment strategy by rich people. This is a huge part of what this world is all about. That's why these watches can cost like, you know, 6 figures for a single piece. But what I didn't know about was that there is a whole online world of gurus and experts who are constantly debating and ranking the various watches from across the financial spectrum. And they all have very good lighting and nice suits on and, you know, a certain way of talking that puts me a little bit on edge.
This was one of these scripts where like I
saw it happening. I was like, oh, this is a video about analog stuff. And then I discovered something on the internet which made me completely rethink the video entirely. And I knew that I had to do it when I saw this guy.
These are 10 budget watches that actually makes you look rich.
We're back in the studio.
Back in the studio. I haven't seen this place in a long
People
time.
thought the last place was our new studio with just no lighting.
It kind of just evolved into like a sweet little podcast with his producer really fast.
Yeah, I think they're just like really, I think they have stuff happening behind the scenes maybe. I think they're really intimate and that's really beautiful.
Who you're looking at, show a little respect for Nico Leonard. He's a clearly Dutch guy of some sort. The veneers that he has, go down in the comments.
Mr. Steinway wants his piano keys back.
That's dumb.
Look at all of the comments.
When your bricklayer moonlights as a dentist.
His whole account is about watches, and he's not the only one. Like, there's a whole world of YouTube with like watch gurus who are explaining what watch to get to look rich, what best watches under $5,000, under $10,000, under $1,000. It's like the Pokemon influencers talking about like the craziest cards they bought for whatever number of dollars. But here's my favorite influencer from this world.
All right, Mel, I see some very
Kevin
recognizable...
O'Leary, what the heck?
Classic.
Not kidding. He posts a lot of content about watches.
Dude, he has 2 watches on and they're like both ugly as hell. He has 2 different watches on with red straps. He has the Aura ring. He has the polka dot jacket. This is a crazy fit. He has the chicken shirt.
Sort of mid-price vibe, accessibility. It's not haute couture, so kind of nearer 10,000.
Or less.
This is what I find so weird. Like, Kevin O'Leary's a billionaire and he's out here making YouTube videos with like 15K views.
Kevin O'Leary, not a billionaire, just letting you know right now.
I think the reason why Kevin O'Leary is in this space is that like rich people and celebrities in particular talking about their watches, it's a flex, of course. Like, people go on GQ and talk about their must-haves and they list like their famous watch that's worth whatever number of dollars, you know? Like, it's a bit of a cultural staple to have rich people talk about their watches. And Kevin O'Leary, I think, is extremely vain and just wants to be associated with this culture because it means something to him. Like, there must be some kind of cachet. Like, I don't know what's going on, but there's something weird happening.
I know why he's doing these videos. In the description of all of these videos, he links to wondercare.com, which is his watch insurance service.
platform, yeah.
Bro.
You called it affordable?
So if you are looking up these videos, there's a very high likelihood that you are watching as an aspirational watch buyer. Somebody who is not buying a watch because you want to see what time it is, or even if the thing actually fits your sense of style or whatever, but purely because these watches imply wealth. And if you have one, you are probably also wealthy. That's the idea here, right? All of this content is breaking down the very specific, minuscule details of each watches that you will never own. This endless analysis of these watches becomes the hobby itself. Comparing materials and weight and features is all kind of a loop to keep you sucked in to what you think these watches are worth. Because truly, of course, there's a whole bunch of watches that are worth dollar sums so high that you could never possibly justify it, even with all the labor and materials in the world.
With the Pokemon cards video, we sort of made the point that the resale value wouldn't be so high if there wasn't at least some blanket layer at the bottom of people who valued the cards either for their artwork or for their emotional sentiment or for the game value.
I don't think that the Casio watch that you're wearing, Levi, exemplifies what Matthew is trying to say. Because, like, I know a lot of people who, like, have, like, vintage Seikos, for example, and, like, cool vintage watches that are expensive because they're old and they're well made,
right,
and
the
they're, like, legacy
space,
brands.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just the freaking Peugeots and the whatever it is, all the other
Omegas.
really expensive watches. The people with good taste who, like, really enjoy watches aren't the ones who are buying those. The people who are buying those just have money and want to flaunt wealth.
What is the right way to value a watch as someone who sees a watch primarily as money you can wear on your wrist? That's my point of view because I don't know anything about watches. I've really only seen luxury watches, and then I've seen like $2 watches that you like get out of a coin machine or whatever.
Both Wade and I think each of us have 2 watches, and they were bought because of aesthetics and because they're just cool watches, and not because they were expensive and not because they're like necessarily valuable, but because it's an accessory. And I think that's what watches should be treated as for the most part. There are people who are really nerdy about the watches and really care about how the watch works and the mechanics behind the timepiece and all that stuff. I think that's interesting too, and I think there's value in that. Versus, I think what you're talking about, Matthew, which is like the classic watch enthusiast, which is, you know, money on your wrist, how much it's worth. I don't think that's the right way to go about buying a watch personally, but I don't think that's the right way to go about buying anything. So as I was saying on that call, I actually have a background in design, which means I appreciate really good product design, and as a result, I like a good watch now and then. I can understand how somebody might not be super into the utilitarian aesthetic of like a Casio watch or even a digital watch in general, which is super fine. But I wanted to show that it is possible to be into a beautiful accessory like a watch without listening to the dudes with $1 million collections. So here's a watch that I bought for my partner a couple of years ago from the brand Project Watches. They were a brand that collaborated with independent artists and designers to create really unique and beautiful watches. They unfortunately did go out of business a couple of years ago, which is really sad, kind of like right after I bought this. But what I wanted to show here is that it is possible, if you go out of your way to do a little bit of research, a little bit of digging, to find something that really speaks to you and doesn't look like what everybody else has. For example, there's so many interesting vintage watches on eBay or small independent watch designers that you can find that make product that costs way less than the traditional watches. And on top of that, you know that you're not buying something just for the hype of it.
All of this content by these enthusiasts serves to increase the value of these watches by telling the story of why they're so elite or why they're so undervalued or overvalued. My newsfeed after watching a few of these videos was just watches all damn day. And this is the exact same thing that happens with Pokemon YouTubers opening hundreds of packs of Pokemon cards, talking about how crazy the speculative market has become. Like, this Nico guy actually has his own watch reselling platform that he promotes in all of his videos. So he's making money off of every transaction that goes on. But what I was very curious to hear was what these guys had to say about the Swatch AP collab.
People did queue up, and a lot of people queued up, and therefore a lot of people fighting, and a lot of places were shut down and blah, blah. Let me be very clear. Hate the players, not the game. Oh, it's an embarrassment for AP that the people are fighting for their watches. That watch, that clock, that new way of telling the time has made a huge impact on the industry.
So what he's basically saying is that Swatch has democratized watches in a certain way, and certain, you know, maybe more traditional watch collectors don't like this because they're kind of letting in the plebes, right?
This right here is AP's new Labubu competitor. It is a plastic pocket watch that very, very slightly resembles a Royal Oak.
It used to be this exclusive thing, and Swatch AP might make it just a little bit more approachable for more entry-level buyers. Swatch has just proven that they can make a lot of money by opening up a part of their brand to lower priced consumers by exploiting a whole bunch of these marketing practices that we see all the time now with toys and drinks and other low cost consumer categories. And in a lot of ways, the Royal Pop watches kind of look like toys. They have a very different aesthetic and even overall function, which makes them look more like a cheap collectible than a high value asset that a person in a fancy suit with expensive veneers are going to be trading amongst each other. Like, I was reading about this drop, and this was very calculated. Like, the people at Swatch were like, oh yeah, like the hype worked. We created this new release. We put a big price tag on it. We released it on a very specific day so that people would have to line up to get it. And then it was all really well documented when the chaos ensued. Like, this was deliberate, and it was very effective. But now back to me, because really, this is enough of this other people shit. Let's talk about me. But what is such a bummer for me about all of this is that there is a really cool part of watch culture that gets lost in all of this stupid consumer stuff. Like, my Casio is legendary because of how practical it is. People who have these watches love them. They love them because they work in a way that things aren't really supposed to work anymore. Like, how rare is it today to have a product that truly does exactly what it's supposed to do without some sort of extra fee to unlock its full features, or that spies on you and harvests your data, or has a pre-programmed end date in which it will become obsolete? This Casio stands as a symbol of a type of consumer product that is just harder and harder to find nowadays. It was designed to do what it does in the most efficient way possible, at the lowest price tag, and that's not something that we see anymore. It's a very romantic version of consumerism that I think people are feeling a lot of nostalgia for nowadays. And we've partnered with Henson for exactly this reason. Honestly, there are so many overcomplicated and stupid products out there, and their shavers are truly a product that you will buy for life. I've been using the Henson razor for months now, and it's just such a practical, no-nonsense shave. I have no notes on what they could do to make it better. So I have particularly sensitive skin and some weird like growth patterns on this side of my neck that often end up bleeding after I shave, which is kind of annoying. But with Henson, this is different. A lot of razor companies today keep trying to add new tech like integrated lotion or more blades or whatever without actually improving the quality of the experience. Henson's a Canadian brand that makes safety razors, but these are made by aerospace engineers. It feels great in the hand, it shaves really well, and the craziest part here is that once you own this handle, the blades are insanely cheap. So not only are these sustainable, but there's nothing cheap or trendy here that would make this obsolete in a few years. It's still going to be a razor that operates in the same way regardless of what happens. A pack of Henson razor blades costs $10 per 100 pack, and this could last you like 2 to 3 years depending on how much you shave. And if you use the link in our description with the code Levi Hildebrand, you'll get those for free with the purchase of a razor. If you do choose to get one for yourself, you'll be supporting what we do here on this channel and an independent business that is trying to do things the right way. So go to hensonshaving.com/Levi Hildebrand and use the code Levi Hildebrand for a free 100 pack of blades with the purchase of a razor. Thank you so much to Henson for sponsoring today's video.
Levi, you blew my mind with the Kevin O'Leary TikToks last time. And I found an additional Kevin O'Leary TikTok that I would like you both to react to. It's so short,
Okay.
but the way he says this sentence is the funniest thing I've seen in my life.
What?
Is this real?
Incredible. I can't believe I'm holding it. The only one in the world.
Dude, is this AI?
It really gives that vibe. I can't believe I'm holding it.
I can't believe I'm holding this. And like, bro, you're a robot. You don't have emotions. What are you doing? And hey, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing and being awesome. We love you. We will see you next week for another upload. Hello, Patreon, and welcome to another Book Club month. We have a big lineup of books this month to vote on, so we are going to be doing a summary of them for you to give you a better idea of which one you would like to listen to or read, depending on how you consume books nowadays. Life After Cars is all about urbanism, urban structures, and specifically the ones that exist around cars and automobiles and why they